Worked with Matthew before, and we work very much with the actors in an organic way, and that's the way that I like to work best anyway, so that I come in with a structure maybe and an idea of how the fight or the movement should look, and then Matthew kind of just leaves me in the room to try something out with the actors, and then through rehearsals we've changed bits, we've added bits depending on how things develop. The actor always brings something anyway into the rehearsal room, and my job is to enhance that and make it look better, but it's always got to come from them, because they're playing the characters and they're investing in the characters, and unlike me, I'm not investing in the characters, I'm investing in the show as a whole, so I have a bigger picture of the show, but they invest in these characters. And so I'll watch them in rehearsals making particular choices and just advise them so that they can let that sink into their minds and their bodies and take it on from there. And it is really amazing from the first day of rehearsals how you see people change in those 4 weeks just by what they're taking on board, what they're investing in it themselves. And it's, I don't know, it's like magic. It's really cool. And you know, we've got Perry down there, and he's been wearing his costumes, and the way now that he holds himself in a suit is completely different to the way he held himself in a suit, you know, 3 weeks ago, and his swagger, because the character is sort of seeping into him now. But the book is absolutely brilliant because it gives you such a clear picture of the way that he writes the story. You really do see the world. You really do see the world. And so once I had that picture and I had a really clear idea of what Arthur should be, then the movement just sort of comes out of that, because the world's been created, and you understand how these characters are within this world, and although it's a raw and a rough world, there is love in it as well, and there is passion in it as well. So it's not all violence. There's some moments in the play that we've created that are really tender, and I think that's important to come across as well. So the way that Matthew wrote it, with the chorus of, say, Brenda's and the chorus of Winnie's, and the first thing that he said to me when we talked about the play was that the most important place is in Arthur's head. So I kind of kept that in mind when we were working on these choruses of women. So it was what we didn't want it to look like is that these girls, or they were just doing scene changes and they were just putting a costume down for Arthur to get into. They would be coming on as a chorus of Brenda's, and they would be laying the clothes down as if they were in Arthur's head, if that makes sense. It's kind of difficult to explain because it's such a visual thing. And the same with we've actually just choreographed a massive scene change right at the end, where it goes from Arthur's family of cousins into the last scene in Doreen's house, and we had to build Doreen's house. And what we didn't want it to be is like a load of actors coming on and putting furniture down. So it comes out of the party in Arthur's cousin's house, a Christmas party, and as a jive. And so what I've choreographed is all the furniture comes on as part of that family. And although they're building the room, they're still playing those characters, and they're all having a fun party Christmas time. And I hope the audience will enjoy that, because I think then one thing just moves to another without it looking like, okay, now we're doing another scene, now we're doing another scene. And that's what's been really interesting for me, because most of the time I choreograph fights, and I've been invited in to do all the movement on the piece, and I've been able to invest in the show a lot more than I would normally be able to. So that's what I've really enjoyed, actually. Some of the stuff won't be obvious, the stuff that I've done, that's what I really love, is that actually you won't even know that a movement or a fight director has been involved in it, because I'm hoping that it will sit in the piece really well, and it will be something that you'll think no one's actually done, but it should move beautifully and perfectly as well, with a rawness to the piece. But there is one great big fight in Act 2, which probably you can't fail to miss. And it happens in the Goose Fair. And I very much went back to the book to see how he wrote the fight, to try and get that feeling of Arthur being attacked and keep getting up and not giving in until finally there's 2 against 1. He can't handle it. And then after the fight there's a really moving piece, which I won't give away, but where it's brought right down, and I've done that, but you probably wouldn't know that someone's helped with that.